Hi, everybody, and welcome to McNulty's Book Corral. I'm your host, Thomas McNulty, and today we're talking about MacKinlay Kantor. Now, for those of you that watched my episode on Mickey Spillane, you'll recall that I mentioned MacKinlay Kantor is one of those writers I think has become one of America's forgotten writers, which is kind of unfortunate because during the 30s and 40s, 50s and 60s, and even into the 70s, he was one of America's best known and best-selling authors, and he was good. So let's take a look at 7 of his books today real quick. The first one is from 1928, which is called Diversey. You can take a look at this. It's a drama, I bet you can tell from the cover. And just to give you an idea on the content of this, I'll read the back cover. 2 affectionate French girls, a vicious killer on the lam, a lonely, love-starved switchboard operator, a blonde newspaper columnist looking for adventure. Now, it's one of those typical adventure / romance novels from the late 20s, and it's not bad, actually. It's very well written. MacKinlay Kantor was a best-selling author for a reason. His books are fun to read. The writing is clean, it's crisp, the images are strong, characterizations are spot on. This one's a little dated compared to some of his other work, but I recommend it if you can find it. Not currently in print, as far as I know. MacKinlay Kantor, 1904, 1977, one of America's forgotten writers, almost, and we'll get to why I'm saying almost in a minute. So then let's take a look at Gentle Annie from 1942, similar type of drama. These were the types of pot boilers that really sold well. Now, the paperbacks I'm showing you are from the 1950s when there was a resurgence of interest in his career. And MacKinlay, here's a picture of him on the back, by the way. Great photo of MacKinlay Kantor. And Gentle Annie is another one. The lusty, full-bodied story of an available woman. So it's a drama. And it's not explicit, like today where everything is. But these books are fun to read. He was really good. Now, don't get the idea here from these two paperbacks that this is all MacKinlay Kantor wrote, because as I'll show you in a moment, he did some other very interesting things for which he's best known, including this fantastic book, Signal 32, which is from 1952. This is the paperback version, obviously, and this is really, and look at how thick this book is. Signal 32 is a police procedural, which became a popular style with television in the 70s, from the 70s on, certainly in the 80s and 90s, and we still have police procedurals on television today. So this novel is set in New York, and it's a day-by-day, moment-by-moment account of basically the lives of police officers on the streets in New York City. Great book. So this is a crime novel, a police procedural, long before they became popular. So in that regard, MacKinlay Kantor was a little bit ahead of his time. So I do recommend this. Great book. Then he gets back to One Wild Oat, which is another potboiler. He did a lot of these. I don't know a lot about him. I haven't read any biographies on him, so I'm not clear. He just must have enjoyed it. But he was a good writer, so the potboilers are fun to read. And yes, occasionally he would do westerns. Here's War Whoop, which is from 55, which is a key year in his life. Now, War Whoop is 2 novellas that he wrote, and Behold the Brown-Faced Men and Missouri Moon, which are reprinted in this paperback to capitalize upon his newfound popularity in the 1950s. And it's fun to read. These are really good. These are historical novels, not really westerns in the traditional sense, but very well written. So I really am fond of this book. The 2 novellas, again, are Behold the Brown-Faced Men and Missouri Moon, are found inside War Whoop. This is commonly available. All of these books you can find on eBay. And that brings us to 1955 with his masterpiece. And this is Andersonville, which was a Pulitzer Prize-winning fictional account of the infamous prison camp that the Confederates had during the American Civil War. and it's about 300,000 words. It remains in print. This is one of the few of his books that remains in print today. Highly regarded novel. Again, this is fiction based upon historical fact, and it's a great book. This is a summer read. This is not something that you're going to sit down and just think, "Oh, I'll read it quick on the beach." You're going to take your time with this, and people do. There's a lot of critical analysis about this book out there. A lot of people have been influenced by his writing in this book. MacKinlay Kantor took the perspective of a wide range of characters in the Andersonville camp and in the surrounding countryside, and he told their story. He created an epic mosaic. The book is justifiably highly regarded, and I strongly recommend for those of you interested in quality fiction. The writing is just superb in this book, even though it's a really long book. I highly recommend that you read this. It's just a great book. So there's his masterpiece, still in print. And then he did another one, Spirit Lake, and I think Spirit Lake is still in print. I don't currently have a copy of that. And so Andersonville is his claim to fame. Now MacKinlay Kantor is best known for writing the story that became the famous 1940s movie, The Best Years of Our Lives. And he did some other things. He did some screenplays and so forth. So he was out there. He was doing different types of things. He wrote over 40 books. This is the one I recommend if you're going to dig into MacKinlay Kantor. This is a masterpiece. So there you go. And finally, we'll end with one of his later books, which is a nonfiction. He wrote nonfiction as well. The Day I Met a Lion. Look at the great photo of him on the cover. He was quite a character, He was a unique personality during his lifetime, friends with Ernest Hemingway, who remains the alpha male in American letters. I'm a little disappointed that MacKinlay Kantor isn't really still in print. Maybe we'll see a revival of interest. There's a lot of quality to what he did in the books that I've read. I've read these 7, and I've read some more. So for you to take a look at, tip of the Stetson today to the late great MacKinlay Kantor. Thank you for checking in. As always, stay well, stay happy, feed your brain, read a book.